Hi, Sadao.
Hello, Samuel. How are you doing?
Okay. Yourself?
How are you doing?
I'm okay. Yourself?
I'm okay, thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, it's nice to meet you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. A very good evening, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome to the Young Professionals Opportunity Series. Of course, this event has been planned and packaged by the young professionals of the Society of Petroleum Engineers Abuja section. This series, of course, is on the theme exploring multiple career opportunities with an oil and gas related background. Of course, today we'll be so pleased, so excited to learn from professionals who have an oil and gas related background. And speaking of three amazing gentlemen and of course a lady who will be our resource persons for today, and of course the moderator for today who has joined us today. I want to say a warm welcome to the 12 participants that has joined quite early enough. A special shout out to Precious Okon, who is the president of NEL University SP Abuja chapter, of course, who was the first individual to join this lecture. I would commend your punctuality, Precious. Your Excellencies, very distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, I would like to once again say a warm welcome to everybody, the 14 participants that have joined, and I'll please request, I'll humbly guide, I'll humbly ask that please you should share the link to all of your networks, to all of your friends, because there's so much to learn today. Before I go ahead to recognize and introduce some dignitaries that are here present, of course, our resource persons and our speakers, I want everybody here to please do me a favor. For everybody that has joined, please do me a favor. Kindly head over to the chat box. Kindly follow this, head over to the chat box. Let's know your name and let's know where you are joining us from. And of course, the very last task I would like us to do is to comment on your goals for 2021. Of course, today happens to be 30th June, which is the last day of the first half of 2021. So we are heading to the second half, which is the second quarter or second half of the year. What are your goals for the year? Have you achieved them so far? How do you rate everything you've done this year? So please, I'll request that please you head over to the chat box and do three things. Let's know your name, where you're joining us from, and of course, how far you have gone on your goals for the year. I'll also request that please leave our microphones on mute if you're not speaking, so that you don't interfere with whoever is speaking. Okay, I'll start by welcoming Mubarak. He says he's joining from USA. Welcome, Mubarak. Okay, Precious Okon. She says, hello, everyone. I'm Precious from Port Harcourt, Nigeria. Of course, thank you for joining us, Precious. So your goals for 2021, how far have you achieved them? How far have you gone achieving them? And do you think it's possible to achieve these goals? Let us know in the chat section. Please, while we await time to introduce you all, kindly share the link to all of your friends, to everybody, so that we can have as many participants as possible. Okay, I see Victor Noche. He says, hi, Victor from Abuja, Nigeria. Thank you so much, Victor, for joining us. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I will move swiftly to recognizing everybody here, but please kindly invite as many people as possible. Once again, you're welcome to the Young Professionals Opportunity Series organized by SP Abuja section. Of course, the theme for today's event is exploring multiple career opportunities with an oil and gas related background. Today, we'll be so honored to have three amazing personalities who will give us lectures on how to explore multiple career opportunities. So let me start by welcoming and introducing, of course, he will be the first speaker for today. He is a senior sales manager, Dakar Retail and Pharmacy, Procter & Gamble, all the way from South Africa. He finished with a BA ENG in Petroleum Engineering from Uniben, and of course, an MBA in Quantic, Washington, DC. Of course, I want to say a warm welcome to Edidion Thompson, one of our resource persons for today. Hello, Edidion.
Yeah, hello. Thank you very, very much.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Of course, I will say a warm welcome to the only lady speaker for today. She is the special project manager in Amazon UK. Also had a degree in petroleum engineering from Covenant University, and of course an MSc in petroleum engineering from Imperial College London. A warm welcome to Deborah Badebo. Welcome, Deborah.
Thank you.
Okay. Of course, the last but not the least, gentleman on white, you can see him. He is a data warehouse ETL developer, NHS Business Service Authority, of course, from England and Wales. He graduated from petroleum engineering, FUTO, and of course, has a master's in engineering management from Northumbria University. A warm welcome to Samuel Lubana too. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Akman. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for agreeing to speak to us today. And of course, the moderator, who in a little short while, I will hand over to her. She has an MSc in Energy Systems from the University of Oxford. A warm welcome to Sadautu Walida Bobu. Welcome, ma'am.
Hello, thank you, Victor.
Okay. Of course, we have some personalities and respected personalities from SP Abuja section who have joined this lecture. I'd like to start by saying a warm welcome to our program's chair in the person of Madam Amina Dan Madami. Welcome, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, Apan.
Okay, thank you, ma'am, and welcome, ma'am. I also like to say a warm welcome to the Young Professionals Chairman who has put together this event. A warm welcome to you, sir, Mr. Victor Anoche. Welcome, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, Apan.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for this opportunity series. I would like to say a warm welcome to the Diversity, Inclusion, and Community Chairperson of SP Abuja section, the person of Engineer Dr. Yetunde Alaidetan. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Apan. Glad to be here.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So I will still go back to our chat section, our chat box, as I will read all of the comments we still have there. We have Aisha Bomoy. Good evening, everyone. She's joining from Abuja, Nigeria. Thank you so much, Aisha, for joining us. Very swiftly, we will move to the very next agenda for today, which, as you can see in the order of events, is the safety brief. Of course, I'll be taking that. So the safety brief is quite simple. The first of them all is, please kindly endeavor that you do not carry your hand to your mouth, to your eyes, or to your nose, as we are still observing the COVID-19 protocols. And if you are in a public environment, please do observe the social distancing. Again, if you happen to be driving during this lecture, we would please advise that you please park your vehicle park your car somewhere and engage in the lecture so as not to cause an accident on the road. And finally, the last safety brief for today is, please, if you're not speaking, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, please mute your mic so that you don't interfere with whoever will be giving us valuable information. At this juncture, I would like to still say a warm welcome to everybody who has dropped comments in the chat box. I would say welcome to Meta Omset from Kenya, our only participant from Kenya. Welcome, our first participant from Kenya. Thank you for joining us. Okay, I see Kennedy Uche. He says, greetings to everyone. Kennedy from Port Harcourt, Nigeria. Welcome, Kennedy. Welcome, 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 welcome. Thank you so much, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, for joining and taking out time to join these lectures today. Of course, we will be giving participants few more minutes to join, and then we will move straight ahead to the welcome address. So once again, we have about 23 participants present here, and I believe we have quite a good number to kickstart officially. So Your Excellencies, very distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, permit me to record this to cloud. Okay, so we are welcome to the YP Opportunity Series, of course, on the theme, exploring multiple career opportunities within the oil and gas sector. Of course, this opportunity series is an initiative of the YP of the section, and it focuses on 3 core areas. The first of them is the international opportunity sharing. The second is mentorship. And of course, the third is recommendation. Of course, the 3 speakers from various professional fields will share their stories, of course, their career paths, and expose all of the participants to similar or future opportunities that can be in form of jobs, internships, and scholarships. Of course, the participants will also enjoy mentorship and guidance from the 3 speakers and resource persons, of course, who we have today. So I'd like to say warm welcome to the 3 people here, and I would say you are so lucky to be part of the first of this Young Professional series. Of course, to kickstart the event, we would like to have a welcome address. We would like to welcome the chairman of the Society of Petroleum Engineers Abuja section, in the person of Mr. Aristotle John Emezi, for his opening remarks. However, he will be represented by the Diversity, Inclusion, and Community Chairperson of the section. Please help me welcome Dr. Yetunde Alaidetan for her welcome address. Ma'am, the virtual stage is yours, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Akpan. I hope you can all hear me.
Loud and clear, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, once again, I'd like to welcome everybody to this program. That's the Young Professional Opportunity Series, themed Exploring Multiple Career Opportunities with an oil and gas related background. Just as the host has said, I think the speakers are going to do justice talking about mentorship, how important it is, because I always tell people that, you know, capacity building for young engineers can never be, you know, overemphasized. And for you to build your capacity, you also need a mentor. You know, also they will be sharing experiences concerning their opportunities. You know, many of them had opportunities of schooling out of the country, and they're going to share experiences, especially for, you know, some of the young engineers that are not really exposed, you know, internationally and all that. I think it's going to be very interesting. And I also look forward, you know, to all the presentations. So I would like each and every one of us to sit down, sit back and relax and enjoy the series. And I want to believe that we're going to have a lot of things, you know, to gain today. Thank you very much, Akpan, for giving me the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Section Chairman of SP Abuja Section, represented by Dr. Yetunde Alaidetan, Diversity, Inclusion, and Community Chair of the section. Thank you so much, ma'am, for the smooth, of course, and incisive welcome remarks. We'd like to move swiftly, switching guests. We'd like to have an address by the convener of this program. Of course, it is the YP chairman, the Young Professionals Chairman of SP Abuja section. Please help me welcome for his remarks, Mr. Victor Anoche. Sir, the virtual stage is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Akpan. On behalf of the young professionals of SP Abuja session, I want to welcome everyone to today's event, which is the Young Professionals Opportunity Series. Today's event with the theme Exploring Multiple Career Opportunities with an Oil and Gas related background is the first in a series, so we intend to be doing this program every month. So this is the first. And then just like the MC said earlier, so our main focus is for international opportunity sharing, mentorship, and recommendation, because we realize that our members within Abuja session can actually get opportunities, international opportunities. So we'll be bringing speakers from various backgrounds to share their experience and also share how we can also explore those opportunities that they are currently in. So I want to thank you for joining, and let's have a good session. Thank you.
Thank you, Victor Anoche. We'd like to say thank you for your speech. Your Excellencies, at this juncture, it will be my pleasure to hand over at this moment to the moderator for today. As you can see on the screen, the moderator, the person of Sadautu Walida. She is a graduate of Chemical and Energy Engineering from the University of Leeds, currently studying for a master's degree in energy systems at the University of Oxford. She has a passion for development in sub-Saharan Africa, with a focus on how Nigeria can diversify from the oil and gas sector and use this to achieve its developmental goals and place itself as a global winner of the energy transition. Please help me switch gears immediately as I hand over the mantle to a moderator, as she will take over from now. So Daitu, please, the virtual stage is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Apang, for the nice introduction. I'd also like to apologize, as I realized that I mixed up your name and Mr. Victor's name. That's one of the woes of the virtual conference, is not knowing who's speaking at what time. I'd like to really apologize for that. I'd also like to move on to introduce our wonderful speakers. First of all, we have Mr. Edith Young, who has an incredible set of experience here. He's a senior manager at Procter & Gamble, India, Middle East, and Africa. He's a sales go-to-market optimization expert across the African business landscape, and he currently manages the large retail channel in South Africa, driving best-in-class in-store fundamentals while spearheading inaugural and first ever Dakar revamp project. He also has extensive experience in key account management across trade channels, sales capability, white space coverage expansion for investment, growth, opportunities, having worked on many business development projects across Africa. Edith Young is a first-class graduate of petroleum engineering from University of Benin and has volunteered and led in SPE Nigeria as student chapter secretary and chapter president, winning the Outstanding Student Chapter and leading performance in 2017 International Petro Bowl competitions. He won the 2017 ARPC and represented Africa in the International Paper Contest at the ATCE 2017 and has technical papers published in One Petro. He's currently an MBA candidate at the Quantic School of Business and Technology, Washington, DC, USA. I'd also like to move on to introduce the second guest, who also has an incredible set of experience. She's Ms. Deborah Gbadebo. She has 6 years experience as a business operations manager, quality assurance, and program manager. She has experience in leading cross-functional teams across Europe, delivering results through identifying key performance trends, striving for operational excellence, and developing company-wide benchmark standards. She spent the last 2 years collaborating with engineering teams on construction and industrial projects, as well as developing teams through learning and talent development programs. Currently, she's responsible for all workplace health and safety automation and learning programs across Amazon's last mile operations. Deborah has a master's degree with distinction in petroleum engineering from Imperial College London and a first-class bachelor's degree in petroleum engineering from Covenant University. Prior to graduating from her studies, Deborah was an active member of the SPE. She served as president and vice president of the student chapters at her Covenant University and Imperial College, respectively. In 2013, she led her chapter to achieve the SPE Gold Standard Award. At the 7th International Petroleum Technology Conference in Qatar, her team won first place at the Energy Bee competition. She is also a recipient of the Edward Olumide Phillips Scholarship awarded by the SPE Nigerian Council in 2013. And last but not the least, the incredible Mr. Samuel Obinatu is a data warehouse ETL developer at NHS Business Services Authority for England and Wales. He has degrees in petroleum engineering from the Federal University of Technology, Owerri, and engineering management from Northumbria University, Newcastle. He has researched, written, and published multiple industry-related technical papers, many of which were presented at the Society of Petroleum Engineers conferences. Currently mentoring many young professionals starting off or requiring career change in data analysis, business intelligence, business analysis, systems analysis, and data warehousing. Samuel is also the Diversity and Inclusion Co-Chair and Mental Health First Aider at NHS Business Services Authority. As a diversity and inclusion champion, he ensures that all forms of inclusion are well promoted in the workplace and in the society. And without further ado, I'd like to then pass it over to the first speaker we have today, Mr. Eddie Young.
Thank you very much, Walida. Thanks, everyone. So just again, my name is Eddie Young. I can easily be referred to as Eddie. Yep. Okay, so I don't really have so much time. I would not waste so much time. I'll just go straight to the point. It's awesome to be here at the first edition of the Opportunity Series for SP Abuja section. SP stays so dear to my heart, and I really look backwards, and I'm thankful for all the years spent leading, volunteering, and of course, working with SP Nigeria. Thanks very much, Victor, for this opportunity. I'll just quickly share my story. I know this is not a one-stop shop, but then, of course, we can always have such many more connects, and then, of course, in the question and answer session. I'm sure everyone can hear me, right? Okay, perfect, thanks. So I I grew up in Nigeria. While I am doing that, let me just quickly share my screen. Okay, so I'm Edidi Young, like I said, I'm Nigerian and I'm African. I grew up in Nigeria. I've come across, I went to a lot of schools in Nigeria. I started from PTI, Petroleum Training Institute, which is in Warri. I'm sure a lot of people should know the school. And then I proceeded to University of Benin to get my BND. And then, of course, I graduated in 2017. Currently, I'm a senior manager with Procter & Gamble, IMEA, so that's India, Middle East, and Africa. Of course, I have a family. I'm very, very close to my younger brother. I'm still single and searching. You can see the picture of my inspiration. So Collins Osuji, and see that's my brother. Collins has been a great backbone to my progress in SPE, and of course also in my career path. For hobbies, I typically like to eat. I like to test new food. I like road trips. I like to volunteer a whole lot. So you'd always catch me at SPE events or Mathematics for Life Foundation events, because I like to read and then engage with people. So very quickly, my SPE journey started from Warri, Delta State, Nigeria, where I served in the membership committee, and of course also spearheaded the Spindletop magazine. That was where my instinct and my flair for SPE started. I attended the first STC in UNN, I think that was 2010. I was really, really young, but then it showed me that a lot could actually be achieved, and I came to love SPE. I progressed to Uniben, where I headed the membership committee, and I moved on to lead as the Secretary General in my third year. What I came to find out was that I was miles ahead. I mean, when comparing to my colleagues, the other students in the class, because we're always going for excursions, and within little time, we were able to get a lot of students to become more involved. I mean, we actually went on to win the chapter with the highest membership status. That was in 2014. And it was simple and it was very easy. All my friends just saw that we're traveling, going to companies, going for excursions and the likes. So it was really, really interesting. And of course, I went to lead as the president-elect and the president. I've worked across sections. I've worked with Benin section. I've worked with the Lagos section during my 6 months IT with ExxonMobil Nigeria. I worked with the SPE Port Harcourt section when I did my internship with Total Port Harcourt. And of course, here I am with SPE Abuja. So it's really, really nice to have worked across board. But one thing is super important, and one thing I want to really call out is that I had the opportunity to go across these various experiences. The key word there is the opportunity. Now, this helped me, the ability to want to lead, the ability to want to volunteer. I remember I started volunteering and then I went on to lead. This particular opportunity helped and afforded me the space to work with a lot of people in the industry, to work with a diverse team, and it greatly honed my organizational skills. I'm forever grateful to SPE for the skills I had garnered over the years working with a lot of awesome people in SPE. And of course, that's one thing that's super different from SPE and other organizations. Everyone, and it was a big shocker for me because everyone, no matter how big they are or no matter their positions in the industry, they are super helpful and they are ready to work with you at all points in time. And they would be there to teach you, to guide you as you work with them, as far as you're ready to volunteer. So of course, it's awesome that we're all here in SPE. Of course, as the president, I put in my best. I had a lot of mentors. I led my team to participate at the Petro Bowl in San Antonio, right? We came second. I also contested in the paper contest, the international paper contest at Texas, San Antonio. All of this, I can say, looking backwards, have afforded me the strength and the boldness and the skills. I'm going to talk later on the skills garnered over time. Now, with this, I can say that volunteering has been the best thing that ever happened to me. I graduated with a first class. So, I mean, when I was back then in school, I would hear a lot of people saying, if you have to, if you, sorry, please, can we go on mute, please? Yeah, okay. So I was saying, back then, of course, would always say, as
Mr. Young, I think you're muted. Could you unmute your mic?
okay, fine. Okay, I guess you can hear me now.
Yeah, it's better now. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So while I worked with SP, one thing I learned over time was that opportunities would always come. What I was able to learn was that what do you do with the opportunities? And I will just show you guys a picture. Now, when you see this picture, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Of course, it's the first picture that hits your face. And of course, that's money. I know we don't use coins any longer in Nigeria or in most countries, but then money is the first thing that hits your mind. Growing up as a young professional would always want to look for, okay, what are the top paying companies? What are the companies where I can get the most money? But then we forget the little things, which you can see by the side, that would actually help us get to where we want to get the money we want to get, and even surpass it with time. And we're going to get that sustainably. So the keyword is sustainably. So it's not a one-time flick, but then you get it sustainably. Family is super, super important. Schooling is super important. And of course, getting a job or getting a skill is super important. What I'm trying to point out is that, yes, we are definitely going to get to the likes of the section chair and of SP Abuja, right? But then we are young, we have a long future, right? What we need to do now and concentrate on is get as much support from your family, get the necessary education in place. So maybe a BSc, a master's here. You never can tell when you're going to need it. And of course, anytime you can find yourself to get some skills in, a job in the bag, get it and keep moving. It's going to really, really come in handy, especially as you progress to becoming a senior professional in the oil and gas industry or any other industry. Now, while we have been trained to lead, to come to play in the oil and gas industry, one thing is really important, and I was talking about the skills I garnered from volunteering. I came to realize that as engineers, as young engineers, we have a lot of skills that we either do not know about or we have decided to put to the side while trying to, for lack of words, hustle for the oil and gas companies. Everybody at one point in time would probably have been at that stage where you're graduating or you're done graduation, you're probably 2, 3, 4 years after graduation, and you're trying to figure out what's next for me, where do I go to, how can I get into Total, ExxonMobil, Shell, and the likes. Of course, the dreams are awesome. It's awesome to dream, right? And people actually do get in, right? Year on year, month on month, people get in. But then what do you do before or while waiting to get into those companies? Or what do you do, or what do you get your hands dirty with while getting there? I'll just quickly talk on opportunities. When I left school, I remember I was with the first class. I probably think that, okay, fine, the world should get at my feet upon graduation, but it wasn't the case. Now, something helped me. I did my internship with ExxonMobil in 2016, and it was a great opportunity to learn. I learned about opportunities, and the person I talked about, he said that at every point in time, all the opportunities you have are like a chess game. So they're like different pieces on the chess game. If you look at this picture, you would see that there are various things that come with the opportunities. If you look towards the left, you'd see that there's the place of luck, probability, chance. Of course, within the space of where you want to look at, you're going to see the job, the freedom, the money, and everything. Now, what do you do with the opportunities you have as we speak? One thing I was able to do was that while at my internship, while I was in my internship, I realized that that was the year that we had the oil price crash. And if you guys can remember, so I realized that a lot of people lost their jobs, people left. It hit the US and the UK a whole lot. And then of course it skated down to Nigeria. It hit the servicing companies a lot. I was in ExxonMobil right before me. A lot of my colleagues, my team guys were let off. So reality hits me, and then I came to realize that, fine, it's an awesome industry, but then there needs to be the place of a second plan, a second choice. What I did was that as I was graduating, I applied to all the companies I could think of. And top of my head, I can remember very clearly, I picked up a book, I wrote down EY, I wrote KPMG, I wrote McKinsey, I wrote Bain, I wrote all the companies. I even went ahead to look at the growth opportunity in the companies. So I chose the best of these companies. What I came to realize is that these companies, though you may not necessarily get the stats financially, but then you're going to grow very, very fast, and then you can actually get something else. I got Accenture. Accenture is a US company. They're into consulting. It was an internship opportunity, and I started it immediately. While I was at it, I left for the US, where I went to represent Africa for the paper contest. Before I had the time to come back, I already applied to OU, Oklahoma University. I also had applied to lots of companies, including P&G. So remember that I was a first class student. I probably would have just folded my hands and waited for maybe my NYC or anything. But then what I did was I got a book. I called it my opportunity book. I wrote all the places I had applied to. I mean, recently, I think that was last 2 months, I saw the book and I looked through the book. What I came to realize was that more than 60% of all the opportunities I had written down were finally accomplished. So I actually got them. It didn't happen once. So it didn't happen in month 1. It didn't happen in month 2. Most of them didn't even come until a year after. But what I came to realize that I had pushed for a lot of opportunities, and then I had gotten them eventually. Now I'm the first speaker, right? I can spend the time. I could have come here to tell you about the plenty of opportunities that abound. There are lots of opportunities that abound. But what I want to get you thinking is, do you want to just sit down and wait for the oil and gas industry, wait for the oil boom, maybe look for another 1970s oil boom? Or do you want to get moving? Do you want to step up? Do you want to, I mean, the only way is up, right? So you want to step up, get opportunities, get other things doing, right? And become super good at it. Now, I finally left Accenture for P&G, right? When I got my P&G internship, I was like, man, I'm going to just do 3-4 months here and then step up. 6 months into my internship, I got Oklahoma University Master Scholarship. I also got Rhodes Scholarship, and I already started learning data analysis and the likes. I was in a fix, and this is a fix that if you can actually push for as many opportunities as possible, it's a nice place to be. It's not a funny place to be, but it's a nice place to be. So you would want to be in a place where you have a lot of options and you're deciding which one do I go for. And remember I said, if you can actually play with opportunities, you can actually get to the point where you're on the chess, you decide both games. So you're the just like they say in the local parlance, you're with the knife and you're with the yam, right? So you actually have the chance to move the white pieces and the black pieces. The concern should now be, which one should I choose? Of course, looking back, I would not say I would have chose differently, but then of course I did not go for the master's scholarship. I continued with P&G. I came to realize that I had gotten to love sales, and that takes me to the skills I talked about. Most of us on this call, we read science, we read engineering, we're linked up to the oil and gas industry one way or the other. We actually have a lot of skills that we have garnered over time without knowing, probably during school period, maybe in SP, in one organization or the other, but then we have a lot of cool skills. I came to realize them when I joined Procter & Gamble, because I leveraged them. I saw that I was doing really, really well. And most of these skills other people did not have, and they saw it like a very big deal. As petroleum engineers, as geologists, as people, as professionals, young professionals in the oil and gas industry, we have the ability to work under pressure. From our team, from our projects, we know how to work in a team. So I mean, remember in SP when we would have the geologists, the petroleum engineers, the production engineers, the reservoir engineers come together to work together. All of those build our teamwork skills. We're very analytical, we like to solve problems, we're very smart. And one other thing is that we're actually fast, so we know how to be quick to action. All these skills put together, trust me, in any industry, I can promise you, in any industry in the world, if you can bring a combination of these skills, you would blow. Sincerely, you would blow. I seamlessly have been succeeding year on year, thanks to God, right? Thanks to, but then one thing I noticed is that these skills I had learned, I didn't know when I was learning them, of course, by picking up one opportunity or the other. When I did my internship at Accenture, I didn't have any place to stay in Lagos. I was just moving around. But then I was actually learning skills so I was picking up skills, gathering skills, learning how to manage, learning how to work in a team. And as the case may be, of course, from school, I had already garnered the numerical and analytical skills. I had got to learn Python. I had also gotten to learn data visualization. All of this I just did. I didn't know if I was going to use them, but it helped me to get to this point where I'm saying, do I go right or do I go left? At this point, which is a nice place to be, like I said, this is where your mentors come in. So this is where your SP, senior officers, this is where your professional mentors come in, maybe someone that you really revere. At this point, they can guide in the right direction. But I can tell you for free, any mentor that you go and that you meet and you're telling him, I have 8 opportunities. I have a master's scholarship here. I have a job here. I have an internship here. I'm trying to start up a business in so place. I'm learning this IT skill. Which one do I choose? He will be more than happy to even close his work and come attend to you, and he'll be able to guide you to make the right decision. At every point in time, one thing I've always done is try to get more opportunities. Even while I'm working, of course, I'm doing my MBA. It's kind of hybrid, so I go to US, I come back. I'm also learning. I've opened a company, right? I'm also learning how to perfect my Python skills. I want to know how to integrate Python into data visualization. And of course, who knows, maybe when I'm 30, 35, I'll probably resign. The idea is that there are many things to do in life. Who knows, maybe tomorrow I can still step back into the oil and gas industry. The most important thing is that I do not let opportunities pass me by. If that's the only thing that we're going to take out from my presentation, it's simple and clear. There are lots of opportunities everywhere. There's a lot of opportunities in Nigeria, outside Nigeria, across the continent. All we need to do is identify them. When we identify them, you value them, so you know, okay, fine, I rank this higher than this. So you have a rank of opportunities, you go for them, apply for all of them, push for all of them. If it's a business, you write the business letters, you do the deals and start up. With this, then you can now go to the next step of choosing which one you want to do. I would want to say that no matter what you choose to do in life, everybody has strengths and weaknesses, right? Leverage your strengths, identify where you need to play in, and win. Thank you very much.
Further to other it was very enlightening. Submit any questions that you may have for any of the panelists in the chat box, and then so don't forget to keep asking questions in the chat box. I'd like to move on to the second panelist, who is Ms. Deborah. I'll pass on the virtual stage.
Thank you so much, Saudata. I just wanted to check with time. So is that still 15 minutes or what's the time allocation for me? Just to...
Yes, you can keep the same timing.
All right, thank you. So I will just share my screen. Yeah. So first off, I just want to thank you for the SP Abuja chapter for this opportunity to speak to young professionals. Also, thank you for the presentation earlier. I thought it was very extensive. I'm not sure I can say much aside from what he said, but I do have a brief presentation. I think our experiences are kind of similar, but I will talk through what I've gone through personally in making that change into a career that's outside of the oil and gas industry. So my name's Deborah. I've been introduced before. I'm a special projects manager for Amazon UK Services. So I'm signed to Amazon UK Services, but I'm responsible for pan-EU projects. So I do long-term strategic projects working on improving the efficiency of our business when it comes to Amazon Logistics section. So Amazon Logistics essentially is our last mile. So that's where we have a package delivered to a customer. So how that process works. So I work on finding business opportunities to actually save or to improve and make things more efficient for the company. So just a brief intro of my background. So I studied in Nigeria at first. So I did my primary, secondary school, undergraduate in Nigeria. I actually have a bachelor's in petroleum engineering from Covenant University. And after that, immediately after, I studied for a master's degree in petroleum engineering at Imperial College in London, which was a one-year program. And so far I've been at Amazon since I graduated from Imperial College. So that's all the professional experience I have. Hopefully I can talk you through how I made that move as a graduate into an entirely different industry, and I have tried to progress in my career from the start. So as you can see, I've had 4 different roles and progressed through the ranks, and I would really like to talk through that and how I've gotten to where I am and kind of useful tips and advice that you can take. I'm not an expert in career development, but yeah, hopefully from my experience, you can make the judgment yourself on potential ways you can make similar adjustments in your career, make similar decisions to pursue these opportunities. So first off, just talking through, I think in my introduction, it was mentioned that I was very much involved in the SPE. So from my undergraduate degree, when I found out about SPE, I started off right from my first year getting involved, supporting and volunteering. And I have to say it has contributed tremendously to my career success and in developing the skills that I've attained through the years to actually succeed at my role and in what I do day to day. So yeah, just I guess the first question you would ask is why I made the move. So why did I move from, obviously I've done petroleum engineering as an undergraduate, I've done it as a master's degree. Why then did I not pursue a career in oil and gas? So similar to what Eddie mentioned, so I graduated in 2015, and that was the year that we had the oil price crash. So it crashed midway during my degree, so I knew I had to course correct. So initially, I knew, bachelor's in petroleum engineering, master's in petroleum engineering, distinction. I knew I was going for the oil and gas industry, probably get into reservoir engineering or production engineering. So I had my sights set on what I wanted to do. But when it got to the middle of my degree, this happened, and I knew that I had to start planning ahead of when I ended my program. So it didn't deter me from applying to the oil and gas industry. So I did apply, but I also knew that I should sort of apply to other places. And there was something that There was a slide that was shown in the previous presentation about opportunities and the stuff that contributes to opportunities. So there's a bit of luck, there's obviously hard work, there's effort, but at the same time, you need to make sure you are actually searching for opportunities and actually reaching out to the different avenues that might be available to you. So instead of constraining myself to oil and gas, I made sure I looked at what other companies would value my skills as an engineer, what other companies would value my skills, mathematical skills, analytical skills. And the true answer is all industries will appreciate that. So I then began to apply to other industries outside of oil and gas. So I applied to Amazon. I applied to the consulting companies, so similarly KPMG, McKinsey and Company, EY. So, and I think that's one thing that we need to, I think, is the first thing. So we need to make sure we're open to opportunities and we're looking in advance and we're not just constraining ourselves to one goal. Obviously, it might not be what we wanted at the start, but getting in, as I said, skills are very transferable, and developing yourself and doing stuff even at this time where you are you're not you're not doing what you want to do, but you're developing skills that will help you reach what you want to reach eventually, is the key one once you begin to sort of look at other opportunities. So I'll just talk through kind of my personal experience and my advice. So I said SP has been such a huge contributor to my career. So it gave me that leadership skills, communication, speaking, public speaking, and also I was able to network with a lot of professionals who advised me and guided me. So I found mentors early on who could advise me. I remember when I wanted to start my master's, or what I wanted to apply for a master's degree. So already, they had advised on sort of the good they had recommended some universities that I could apply to that would be great for my CV and great for my future. And also in terms of writing my personal statement, I had mentors who would help me review it and see that okay, and make comments here and there, and that definitely supported me in reaching where I wanted to reach. And also mentors are very helpful, even when you're going through if you want to go in for a master's degree, it's always great to have a mentor who can really steer you in the right direction, what area of the oil and gas industry will be of interest to you, and even what are the career opportunities available to you. And they have such great links in the industry, and can provide you other mentors or other people who can support you while developing your career. So first off, in terms of, if you've maybe so just going back to when I'd graduated, what was the first step? What did I do? So I started looking into companies, into industries, as I said, that would appreciate my skills. And aside from looking at companies that would appreciate my skills and I also wanted to look at companies that would afford me growth. So if I was going to go somewhere, would I be stuck? Would I be able to do what I want? Would I be able to develop my skills? Will I have that opportunity to advance? And I think that was a critical one, especially when I got multiple offers in terms of jobs. So I knew that I wanted to go for Amazon because it was a big company, it was a global company, and I knew that I would have the chance to explore and find what I actually wanted. At that stage as a graduate, you have barely any experience professionally, so it's great to have that opportunity to work in a company where you can maybe move about or maybe experiment and fail or succeed. So that was what made me choose that. Obviously we might not all have this opportunity, right? But if you do get the opportunity, it's really great to make sure you're looking at that chance for growth and that opportunity to expand and to continue to develop yourself. Secondly, I would say make sure you get involved. This probably comes back before researching the companies, but yes, do get involved. SP is such a great avenue. I cannot stress enough how much SP has contributed to my success. Even just going through personal statements and applications. I remember going to assessment centers, when applying for jobs, and you would have this interviewers ask you, "Oh my God, I really loved all your experience in SPE. The stuff you participated in, how you were involved already in an industry," and that definitely sells you. So I would say make sure you're very much involved, even outside SPE, volunteering and other things. Just show that you're developing soft skills, and you're someone who is open to getting in and trying out different things, and you're a wholesome person, and I think that's really critical. And yeah, be open to learning. So I think this is a key one, especially the fact that I made that change from what I thought I knew and what I thought I was an expert in, to moving somewhere where I felt I knew nothing. And it's such a humbling experience, because you have to be willing and be open to learn. You have to constantly, you probably need to, I don't know if you need to do extra. I don't know if I felt I was doing extra or working harder, but I would definitely look at what skills did I have to develop, and I would work even outside of work. I would try to take on some other tasks and try to do stuff myself, just to continue developing myself. I was humble. I would reach out to people who could help me and support me, and yeah, for me that was the key thing, just actively learning, because obviously moving entirely from something different into business means I had to learn a lot. So you should be open to that. Also embrace being uncomfortable, and I think it ties into learning. So if you're jumping into something that you have no previous experience in, it can be daunting, but yes, just know that if you're comfortable, then you're probably not developing and you're probably not learning. So be willing to be uncomfortable. And once you step into those challenging situations and things that are different from what you've been doing before, I think there's a really huge chance of reward. I know we think about failure all the time, where if I'm moving to something different, what if I'm not good at it? But then think about, what if I'm good at it? What does that afford you? It affords you the chance, it opens your opportunities, because then you're gaining experience in something entirely different, which then opens your whole future. So for example, I don't know if I would go back to oil and gas again, but I feel right now I've definitely developed more skills. And if I moved into the oil and gas business, I would be moving into a more like business role, a senior role, where I would be, working on making those decisions. Should we actually invest? Should we not invest? And I think these are some skills that you get. That this is why you should be able to embrace moving into something else and doing something different, because it all adds up in the end, and it all contributes to giving you such a strong background for the future. And yes, this has been mentioned before, but find a mentor. And I mentioned this, I think SP exposes you to so many people, to so many experienced senior people in the business, people that are very experienced. And as Eddie said, a lot of these senior leaders, it's so fascinating how willing they are to support you, how willing they are to teach you, and how willing they are to help and support your growth. So don't be scared. Don't be scared to reach out and speak to someone and say, "Oh, okay, I'm doing this, and I would really like us to connect." There are so many people out there looking for mentees. I'm actively looking for mentees where I am. So even at Amazon, I'm involved in the Black Employee Network, so mentoring a lot of younger professionals, who are trying to grow their career, and I'm supporting that. And I also have mentors within the company. So within Amazon, people that support me, people that support my growth. And I think you never not need a mentor. I don't know if that makes sense. You always need a mentor, because there's always another level to go to. So absolutely make use of mentors. There's no stage where you are that you understand everything and you know everything around you and you know how to get to where you need to go. So mentors have that foresight. They're ahead of you, and they can really help you identify those skills you need to develop and those areas that you have opportunity in, and will set you up for success when moving somewhere else. And finally, make sure you have set career goals. So we've talked about moving into an entirely different business, but we need to make sure that that business or wherever you're moving into is giving you, is propelling you in the direction you want to go to. So what do I mean? So if I say 5 years from now, I want to have achieved this, I need to review that every couple of months. Okay, where am I now? Is this working for me? Do I need to start looking for other opportunities? Do I need to change something? Do I need to develop a specific skill? So it's such a great thing to do. Make sure you always have a plan. Even if things are not looking like they're working, as long as you have a plan, then you know how to course correct. And I think I mentioned that earlier. So I had a plan that, oh, okay, I wanted to do this, but then I saw that there was a risk for me to actually get into, start working, to get into, start developing my professional career, and I had to make those adjustments. So it's very important to have those forward-looking goals, and that ties into your mentor, because once you have your goals, your mentor can help you and direct you to reach those goals. So yeah, I think that's all I had. Once again, as I said, if you want to reach out to me outside of this, please feel free to. But yeah, I'm no expert, but I'm definitely willing to share any experience I have and on how I made that shift. But yes, so far so good. I think I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I've been at Amazon for, I want to say 6 years now, and I would say at least every 2 years I've sort of made a change in my career, so or a change in roles, and that's advancing. So I think I can definitely shed some light or give more detail as to my experience and how I've reached where I have. So yeah, thank you for that. That's all I had to say.
Thank you very much, Mr. Barra, for us again the importance and the value of SPE and importance of taking advantage of the opportunities that SPE presents, and also the value of having mentor leadership skills, and also the importance of embracing being uncomfortable and considering that's the only way you can grow and expand your horizon by leaving your comfort zone. I'd like to remind everyone again to please post your questions in the chat box, and we'll get to them at the end of finally, Mr. Samuel to shed some light on his amazing experience. Mr. Samuel.
Thank you very much.
Can you hear?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. We hear you, sir.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So I'm just going to share my screen. Okay, yeah, I've shared it. So first of all, I want to start by saying my name is Samuel Banatu, and I graduated from FUTO. For those of us that know FUTO, FUTO is very active in SPE. In fact, I just reckoned that they just won the the Students Petro Bowl contest this year, like they've always done most of other years. So I'm going to talk you through how I've explored multiple career opportunities from oil and gas background. And some of the things that Deborah and Eddie shared are kind of similar to me, because I think we schooled around the same couple of 5 years, round, and their faces are very, recognizable around those times. So first of all, start with my SPE journey. What is my SPE journey? I started my SPE journey right from my year one. So I had a mentor called James Omeke. as soon as I joined the university, he started mentoring me. He was, very proactive as well in SPE, but he wasn't into leadership or anything. He was just more of a research kind of person. And I presented my first, or I had my first contest in SPE student conference in my second year, when I've not even had, PET 101. So yes, that's the value of mentorship. So I presented paper in my second year. I presented paper in my third year. I didn't present in fourth year. I presented in fifth year. So, I must say, in any of that, I didn't win anywhere. I didn't go to Texas or anywhere, but but I want to say that the experience and the fact that I was able to put out something out there, that is it the examiners now or the panel saw fit as something that could be presented. I was really proud of myself. I also served in SP student chapter FUTO as a financial secretary, among other positions I held in FUTO. I started as a course rep for my year, and then I moved to FinSec and carried on, mentored some other people to become presidents and other positions afterwards. And moving forward, I've engaged in SPE very actively. That's where I knew Victor from when he was president. Even before he became president, we became very close friends. So SPE shaped my life. It kind of brought out that leadership and the proactive side of me. So, and moving forward, I graduated 2013, served 2014, and just like Deborah and Eddie, we had the oil meltdown, the price and everything, and everybody started thinking, how do we cope? What do we do? Should we continue to be in petroleum and oil and gas industry? So for me, to be fair, I didn't bother apply for jobs in oil and gas industry, but I worked in a servicing company for a while before I left Nigeria. So I worked in Genesis Group. The oil and gas servicing subsidiary is called Gentech Oilfield Support Services. I worked there for about 2.5 years, but my role wasn't just being, going offshore or trying to do servicing. I was also looking into real estate. I was looking into the fast food. Those days in 2015, 16, if you come to Genesis Center, you're going to see me as one of the people that were occasionally coming around to supervise what was happening there. So that was when I started exploring multiple industries. I started looking into what businesses were all about, what they were, what exactly, why exactly do we do business, and what are we trying to get? Is it just about the money? Is it about just making impact or, solving problems? That was when, I started thinking about all these things. Unlike Deborah and Eddie, I didn't make a first class in my first degree. And also in my master's degree, I didn't make first class either. But the reason why this is happening is not because I don't want to make a first class, but I prefer to study, and I also prefer to gain other, sort of qualities, leadership qualities, personal qualities, and also engage with people. And I'm that kind of person that if you put in a room, even no matter how awkward in that room, I'll try as much as possible to bring that room alive. So I moved to the UK in January of 2019. And before arriving in the UK, I was told so many bad things. Hey, you're not going to get a job. You're going to study, and every negative things that anyone could tell you. But on arriving to the UK, on the very first 2 weeks of arriving to the UK, I secured an interview with a company I've never heard before. Like 1 week prior, I've never heard of this company. And, but then I secured an interview with that company. How did I secure this interview? To be fair, I did not apply online. I did not do anything. I used my Samuel Obanatu tactics, which is the person's quality. How did I do this? I went on LinkedIn. I subscribed to LinkedIn Careers. And then I put my location to be the place I just arrived, which was Newcastle upon Tyne. And then I requested LinkedIn to send me mentors around 10 miles within where I live. And then they sent a bunch of them. And so I just put like a filter around technology, engineering, management, just around things that I know of. And prior to this, I've already published so many technical papers, just with the help of SPE and all the knowledge I got from SPE. And when I filtered this, so many people were, and I started sending random messages. That's Samuel for you. If you get a random message for me, I'm not trying to stalk you. I'm just trying to connect. So that's how I do my own. If you answer back to me, we keep talking. If you don't answer back, that's it. So when I sent out this message to this lady, who happens to be, one of the senior management staff in NHS Business Service Authority. So what does NHS Business Service Authority do? So I know that most of you must have heard of NHS, National Health Service for UK. So NHS Business Service Authority handles everything that has to do with, technology, digital and data, and insights. So basically they provide services around NHS pensions. They issue European health insurance cards for those of you that have been around in the UK before. They also administer payments to pharmacies and dentists. And they also handle the NHS jobs and also the NHS staff record. So this is what NHS Business Service Authorities do. When I sent out that message, the lady was kind enough to reply back and said, Samuel, what do you want? And I said, I just got here 1 week ago, and I'm looking for a role that I could be doing while I do my master's. And she said, okay, so what exactly are you looking for? I told her I studied petroleum engineering and I've worked in a servicing company so far. Partly worked in an IT company, but not basically, like full-time IT, but I'm very open to anything that my skills can be able to take me through. And she said, okay, come see me in the office next Tuesday. This is someone I've never met before. And then I got to see, I'm sorry I'm telling you all these stories, but I'm telling you, I'm trying to narrate this story to show you that, you don't need to be extra, you don't need to be very intelligent or so. All you need is just those person qualities just to connect with people and be able to connect with them, and they give you what you want. On getting to the office, she asked me, so welcome to the office. She introduced it everywhere to me and asked me, what do you want? To be fair, when she asked that question, I got confused and I said, I don't know. Yes, if I tell you that I had what I wanted figured out, then I'm a liar. And I told her that I don't know. As it stands, I can see that there are so many departments in this organization that I can fit in. But I want you to mentor me through what you think will be better for me. My choices were open. And, she said, okay. Is there another thing that you would like me to know about you you know, that will help me to make that decision. And I said, the only thing I said to her was that I've published 6 technical papers in the from the oil and gas background. And she said, oh, that's right, that's okay. Please send me those technical papers and I'll read them and I'll get back to you next week. I did that. These technical papers, 4 of them were presented in SPE conferences, and everything that was in that I've ever published as at then was all in oil and gas industry. But then now I'm in an IT company that is serving a health service for a whole country, or then a whole continent, because NHS was almost for the whole continent in Europe here. So after 1 week, she sent me a link and said, there are some jobs opportunities over here. Go through it and apply for the one you think that it's okay for you. When I applied for that job, after 2 days, I got an email that I've been invited for an interview. And I went for that interview. That interview was supposed to last for 45 minutes, but we were in that interview for 3 hours. Why? When they ask me one question, I keep telling them everything I know around SPE, around how I've presented, how I presented over in my second year. I kept talking and talking and talking, and they were like, they've never seen someone like this guy. So, but before going to that interview, I was thinking that probably the way I speak or the way I look, my color and whatever was going to play a role. But then, of course, the God factor, I must tell you, I prayed and I said, God help me. On getting there, the interview lasted for 3 hours. And when I was leaving, I was a bit nervous. I was thinking that probably I wasn't going to get the role. But luckily, after 1 week, they sent me an email that I've got the role. And this coincided to about a month of the day I arrived in the UK. So I know that this might sound unreal. You got into the UK and after 2 weeks, you got a job in the NHS. If you have been in the UK, you know that NHS is somewhere that even if you stay here for 10 years, getting into NHS is very, very hard. But the power of mentorship and the power of utilizing what you have or what you've learned in the past have helped me to connect and to get this. I'm not going to bore you furthermore around this. Why did I change career? Of course, everybody know, then we had so much bad news around what's going to happen. Oil is going to finish very soon. And, and then that scary oil price fall, that coincided with like people like Jonathan leaving office, and then we had a new government. There were so many uncertainties, and everybody just wanted, was confused and didn't know what was going to happen. I was part of those, but then I was like, maybe it's time for me to make a change. And in making that change, I made sure that my options were open. So I'll tell you some of the essential factors that helped me to navigate this process. Networking. I've already said this. Put yourself out there. Try to network. Keep your options open. Don't think you're too dull or too, you didn't make first class, or wherever you are, start there. There's someone that is ready to mentor you through this process and to get you where you're supposed to be. Keep connecting, never stop connecting. And even if you get a lot of, pushbacks, keep trying. So networking gave me the job I'm doing up till today. I'm still going to tell you how far I've gone through this role. I started as a technical development analyst. Still while I was doing my master, I finished my master's in 2020, because I started 2019, I finished 2020. But within that time I was doing that master's, I changed role twice. Still as a student. I know, yeah, it looks very, very, very impossible, yes, but I'm telling you that it's very possible. So I was a technical development analyst, moved to business intelligence and data warehouse development analyst, and currently a data warehouse ETL developer. All these changes came with a lot of learning, a lot of relearning, a lot of unlearning, and trying to make yourself better. I must say, for people that know me personally, I'm that kind of person that enter into a place and change the atmosphere of that area. Like, okay, this is how things are being done, but then as soon as someone shows up, the temperature of the room changes. Sometimes it's mostly to the positive side, because sometimes they call people like me disruptors. We disrupt for a good cause. Do you understand? So when I joined the NHS-BSA, I didn't see any Black person there. But I'm telling you that as of today, we're counting in our hundreds. So lower your profile. When I say lower your profile, you've been a manager in Nigeria, you've done this, you were a president, you made a first class. When you want to change a career, you need to lower your profile to fit into where you're going to. If you put yourself up there, that's, you've done this, you've done that, nobody can mentor or can confidently mentor a proud or arrogant person. You need to be able to bring yourself, you're not putting yourself down, no, you're not bringing down your status, no, but lower your profile so that you can be able to fit into someone that can be able to mentor you and tell you the truth. I've also mentoring is like one of the best things I've ever benefited from or enjoyed in my life. I'm that kind of person that even if I'm coming to you and you're forming busy, I will keep coming, I'll keep disturbing you, and I'll keep it until you agree to mentor me. As long as I know that you have what I'm looking for, I will keep coming, and as a mentor, you have a lot of responsibility to cater for your mentee, motivate them, advise them, make sure that you help them to achieve that success. Coach them and support them in any way you can. Even when they're doing so badly, know that, they can get better, to a better point. And finally, around this, I will say, one thing that I've ever done that's helped me is that no matter how bad a relationship gets, I make sure I keep that rope as long as possible. If I burn the bridge around, my connection with probably someone like Victor, I wouldn't be here today. And there's so many people I've met in the past, that are still helping me up till today. Never burn that bridge. I'll still mention this name again, Omeke James. Few people might know this guy, but he's a very silent person, but he's one of the best mentors I've ever met. So he helped me through this process, and he's still helping. Whenever I need anything, Omeke James is ready to come through. I believe in some of this mantra, never stop learning. I'm always learning. As I'm talking to you, I'm doing a lot of training on my own, not company sponsored, some are company sponsored, but some of them I just do on my own. If you look at my eyelid, it's black. It comes from stress. Yes, I'm always trying to better myself. As I'm here, I'm thinking about what is the next thing. So never stop learning. So even if the situation around where you are now changes, what's going to happen to you? What are you going to do? Always be prepared. If you look at the jobs I've done so far, some of them are not related. Why? It's because when I was in that job, I was getting the next thing. And so that even if there's any disruption around that, I move. Within those 2 years I was in these 3 roles, they reshuffled, if you know how government organizations work, they reshuffled my team up to 3 times. And as they reshuffle it, they're changing managers. And imagine when you change managers like 2 times in a year, what the impact it could make to your progress, to what you're doing and all that. You know, for someone
Mr. Samuel?
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I'm just conscious about the time.
Yes.
It's run over 15, it's about 20 minutes now. It's a very interesting talk. I wish we had more time to continue on, but
I'm
we
gonna
can wrap up.
I'm gonna round off.
Okay.
So for me, my motivation is not necessarily money, but for some people, their motivation is money. Sometimes don't set your eyes on money. Try and set your eyes on, you know, progression, development, and all that. And then, of course, within this, within the course of this time, I had a lot of challenges as well. I was able to overcome them through mentoring, asking questions, always being open to understand. Volunteer, put yourself out there. If you're in SPE, volunteer. It doesn't matter whether you're being paid or not. Put yourself out there, you learn from there. And also, throughout the pandemic, I would say that it was one of the best things that has happened to some people, and it was also one of the worst things that's happened. You learn through the time of disruption. Some of the trainings I've done so far, some of the things I learned throughout the pandemic because I had the time. I worked from home and, you know, had the time to develop myself. There's always uncertainties, you know, industries are changing, managers are changing, you know, your mentors are changing, but then it depends on you to always be dynamic, trying to be dynamic in your head, in your plans, in your, you know, attitude. And also timing is everything. Make sure you know the right time to move. What happens, what worked for me might not work for you. So you need to know the timing and make sure that you get the timing right. And finally, always understand, I don't know if you're Muslim, if you're Christian, whatever we believe in, the God factor is very important. Try as much as possible to believe in something. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that very enlightening presentation from your wealth of experience. It really stood out to me how much you emphasize the leveraging of all the skills that one has, regardless of academic capabilities, and also re-emphasizing the importance of mentorship. I'd like to now pass it on over to the MC.
Okay, thank you very much, Sadautu. It has been quite an engaging lecture. Before we move over to the questions and answers, which you will still handle, Sadautu, permit me to quickly recognize some of distinguished personalities that have joined this meeting today. Of course, Samuel stressed the importance of mentors. One of the greatest mentors SP Abuja section is proud to have is our section director, the immediate parts section chair of SP Abuja section. I would like to say thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Ere Yala. He's in the meeting. Welcome, sir. We also have here with us the Student Affairs Chairperson of SP Abuja section, the person of Mr. Ogenerume Ogolo. Thank you for joining us here today, sir. Warm welcome to the section director of SP Benin section, and is a professor of petroleum engineering in the person of Professor Kelani Bello. Welcome, sir. We thank you for joining SP Abuja section for this event. And of course, we also have here a lecturer from the Department of Petroleum Engineering. He's also the faculty advisor of ATBU Bauchi in the person of Idris Buka is a lecturer. Welcome, sir, and thank you for joining us for this session. We also want to say a warm welcome to the alternate YP chair of SP Abuja section and the person of Chizom Okoye. Welcome, sir, and thank you for joining us. Also, welcome all other participants, about 40 of them that have joined throughout the course of this event. Thank you and thank you. So we continue smoothly to the question and answer session. Moderator, please continue.
Thank you very much for the acknowledgements. I'd like to now put the stage out there to the audience to ask any questions. If there is anything you want more clarification on, either from the presentation or outside of the presentation, for getting more opportunities beyond the oil and gas sector and harnessing the skills that you have, please put them in the comment section and I can read them out to you. A person asked for the LinkedIn profiles, which I think was a good initiative. So I've put up the names of all the speakers in the chat box if everyone wants to access their LinkedIn profiles. Okay, it seems like the presentations have been really comprehensive. So if there aren't any questions, I'd like to then pass it back to the MC to end the session. Thank you very much to all the speakers.
Okay. I'm shocked that there are no questions though. Again, if you have questions, please kindly raise up your hand and you will be given the opportunity probably to air your question audio or probably send it via the chat. We have 4 amazing personalities who have got so much to tell you.
It seems like there's a question from Miss Miriam.
Okay.
You can unmute yourself and ask Miss Miriam.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Thank you very much, Abuza section, for this initiative. It's really been an engaging moment for me. Hope you can hear me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. My name is Marianne Augustine from Port Harcourt section. So I want to ask a question, and my question can go to any of the speakers because they have similar experiences, probably in different dimensions. So I would like to ask, I know it's easier to say you've seen the dividend of your decisions, but what would you encourage a young professional who is really, really struggling? Because there are a lot of expectations. You're working in SP, you think you are on the right track, and though you don't know what lies ahead, you think you're on the right track, you have the network, you have the capacity to remain in the industry, but you're still not sure. And I don't know, what would be your advice? Because it's not as easy as you all mentioned, because there are a lot of unforeseen factors. And I really want you to throw more light on at which point did you get to make those decisions of, I think one of the speakers said he didn't apply for any oil company job. And I really want you to throw more light, because it's really not as easy as you're saying it, because this is what we've been anticipating for 5 years in school, studying petroleum engineering. Oh, I want to be in this industry. I really want to be in this industry. I mean, even for somebody who did masters in petroleum engineering, and this is an industry which it's something great to be in. And I really want to know what inspired you, what motivated you, and did it just happen, or were you very conscious of it happening? Please, any of the speakers.
Thank you very much for your questions, Rian. Does any of the speakers want to take this question?
I think she was referring to me, so I'm just going to say something about that. Thank you, Miriam. Okay, it was a conscious decision to move from, the oil and gas industry into IT and all that. But at first, I didn't know how I was going to pull it off. I wanted to move. I wanted that change, but then I was just open-minded to understand how this is going to work. So that's why I set out to study engineering management. I thought of so many things I would have studied, but I promised myself I would definitely not study petroleum engineering again, or chemical engineering, or any core engineering course. I just wanted to do something that can put me in between the highly technical and then the administrative part. And I must say that it has paid off, because right now, that management acumen that I garnered from SPE, politics, and other things has helped to, it started shaping the way I think and the way I relate to people and the way I work and the way, I make decisions. So if you're looking to make a change, at first it won't be easy. You won't get it all figured out. That's why you need a mentor. That's why you need to network. That's why you need to speak to someone, because we don't always have it all figured out. Anyone that have it all figured out must be a genius, not me.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Let me just quickly add.
Does any of the other speakers want to add to that?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Okay, yes. So just very quickly, thanks, Samuel. Really, really clear. I just want to add that there are three things I would say. At first, it looks very, very crazy, right? I mean, I understand you've studied 5 years in school, you put in your best, burned midnight candle, and of course you graduated, right? The first thing I would always say, and the easiest thing to do, is to throw your net out. It's a safe way to start, right? So of course you're in the oil and gas industry, right? You're probably doing your internship or you're doing something or serving, whatever you're doing. But the idea is throw your net out, right? The first, while you're trying to make a decision to decide, okay, do I step out, do I not step out, or is it the right thing to do? First of all, get the opportunities. So the opportunities are to get them first. That's always my first point of call. When I get them, then I would bother my head about, okay, should I step out or not? So put your net out, talk to people. So then the second thing is, of course, mentorship. Get mentors. Mentors would help guide you, and it will also help grow your network. So your mentors' friends will be your friends and the likes. So, and then the third thing, of course, you saw in the chat I put, there's a place of God luck, right? So once you play within these 3 circles, you will definitely get it figured. You will definitely not figure it from the first day, I can assure you. I didn't even, I wasn't clear that I was going to be here, right? But then throw your net out. Most important thing, get as many opportunities as you can get. Scholarships, there are lots of them out there, scholarships, apply for jobs, do interviews. Just throw your net out, get as many as you can get. Then of course, from there, you'd step out.
Absolutely. I can only echo what the other what my co-speakers have said. So you're never going to be 100% certain or 100% sure, and you have to embrace that. That's life. But as long as he said, make sure you're reaching out, making those opportunities. You have to create them, right? So you need to go out there. You need to look at what's available, and then, if you do get what you want, or initially, fine, at least you have the options and you can then make that decision. If you don't, you have a plan B or a plan C that you can rely on. But yes, it's never easy if you've already built this expectation that you're going to do this and do that. Just take in my case, right? So master's in petroleum engineering, bachelor's in petroleum engineering, but then ended up doing something different. So obviously there were checkpoints where I'd be like, okay, a year after, do I still want to remain here, or do I want to try to still push for petroleum engineering? And I made the decision where I am. I enjoy what I'm doing. I want to keep going. But I had created that opportunity to occupy myself in that time while still making a decision to know where I'm going to be. So that's how I think that's the best way to go about it, where you're doing stuff, you're making opportunities. It might not be the plan A you wanted, but then you have the opportunity. By doing that first step, you then create a better chance for you to reach what you initially wanted to reach.
Thank you very much for all the enlightening responses. We're all learning from the speakers. I'd like to move on to the next question, Mr. Abdul Hakim. Could you unmute your mic and ask your question, please?
Hello, good evening. Thanks to everyone, some of the amazing speakers. I'll get right onto it. So my question is, how do you see the career landscape in oil and gas changing in like 5 to 10 years? I mean, with new innovations, you'll find that only jobs that are kind of creative will survive, especially in developing nations. So, I mean, and in a nutshell, what jobs do you think will be phased out, and what sort of opportunities do you think might arise as a result of that? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Ms. Take this.
Yeah, I think this is such a good question, and it's been a question that we've all had even 10 years ago, 20 years ago. It's the same question that's been asked every year. How relevant will oil and gas be in the next X years? So all I can say is that although there is a view to move into more sustainable energy, more renewable energy, we know that we still have this dependence on oil and gas, and that's not going to change in the short term, right? And we also mentioned transferable skills. So don't be dismayed if you've studied petroleum engineering now and you're thinking, oh, maybe it's going to go extinct. Remember that you have transferable skills. You're still an engineer. There are other industries to work in. You've got, even if it's not oil and gas, if it's renewable energy, you still have those transferable skills and you can always branch out. So I wouldn't say have that view of a role is going to get phased out or something's going to get phased out. At least in the immediate future, we know we still need oil and gas. We have a lot of developing countries, and we will still need to rely on this. And we are not meeting our energy demand globally. So maybe we take a use case of Nigeria, right? 100% of Nigeria is not covered in terms of power generation. So there's always going to be that need, at least in developing countries. So yeah, as I said, don't be dismayed and don't take that as, oh, it's going to be phased in the next 5 to 10 years. I don't believe it is. But obviously, if you do want to look at stuff that's going to be sustainable beyond petroleum engineering, you can, but I don't believe it's it's getting phased out because there is an absolute need for energy across the world.
Just adding to that, I don't think petroleum will totally phase out, even though there might be job cuts and all that, because with time we'll be competing more with electric cars and other things. But I'll focus more on transferable skills. Even if you want to be a data analyst, you can be a data analyst in oil and gas industry. I remember we used to use is it MATLAB or those so those softwares are kind of that other software that work exactly that way in the IT industry. All you need to do, even if you're in that industry, try and move yourself to the point where even if you're to leave petroleum engineering or you leave the oil and gas industry, you'll be able to fit in. People have applied for jobs from oil and gas industry directly into IT, hospitals, and they got it. Why? Because there are some things that they've done within where they were in the oil and gas industry that were applicable into where they were moving to. In the past 1 year, I've interviewed some people that they didn't even study anything. They probably studied philosophy or they studied law, and they became developers. They became analysts. They became business analysts and all that. So don't count yourself out. But most important thing, skill up and keep moving.
Thank you very much for all the enlightening answers, Mr. Eddie. Did you want to also add to this?
No, it's fine. I just wanted to concur. I said like it's super, super good. And it cuts across all industries, right? Wherever you are, just try and get as much skills as you can. There are some very common skills across, but same thing happened, right? When I joined P&G, we did the MATLAB in school. I mean, that was just it. But then I just saw the need to probably scale up, get some skills. I started to learn data analysis and the likes, and it came in handy. I mean, I now do data visualizations, and it helps me with my role. So you can do some things that some people cannot really do. So you can actually learn the skills. You will definitely need it someday, definitely.
Can I just add to that and ask you, Mr. Eddie, if you have any recommendations for resources that people can use to upskill in that way in learning data analysis?
Yeah. So there are lots of, So typically there's a rave for IT, particularly data, so big data analytics, right? This cuts across visualization, the data science particularly, and of course, big data analysis. For the three of them, I can actually drop some links. You can get some free courses, you can get some paid courses as the case may be. But trust me, everyone needs to learn one of them actually. I think the most transferable and the most common skill across industries is data analysis. So I feel everyone should not just be able to use Excel, but be able to analyze data and of course, get relevant conclusions from the data. I'm sure Samuel and Deborah, you guys do it a lot.
Yeah. I just want to say something.
Bread and butter.
Yeah. I just want to say something about Excel data analysis. Data is moving beyond Excel. That's why. That's why Samuel Banatu is here as a data. Okay, I don't know if I explain what a data ETL developer is. So all those prescription data, dental data, and all that data that we collect around the NHS, we'll build like a house for it, and then we usher them into that house. And then when it comes into that house, we'll try to filter it, based on the business rules and all the things that we've agreed that our data should look like. And then after applying all that, we'll then create another data mart where businesses or CCGs like GPs, doctors, and other area pharmacists can be able to use that data. You understand? So if you're learn beyond Excel, because data analysis is going beyond Excel right now. So
yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Samuel. We can take one last question before we round off the session. One last question from Mr. Abdul Hakim.
Thank you so much. Actually, this is a follow-up question based on what the speakers were talking about data. So I mean, there's a hot new trend across every industries in artificial intelligence and automation. So I'm just curious to know, how do you think that artificial intelligence could impact the oil and gas industry and sort of the energy industry, and how will that impact the whole industry, if I may?
For me, I work in Amazon. Technology is always good, right? So I don't think you can go wrong with artificial intelligence and machine learning. So that's not going to negatively impact you. Rather, it's going to enhance your work and enhance the industry, right? So if we go back to, 20 years, 30 years ago, when we had to do our pressure volume, when you had to do our pressure graphs and charts, you can imagine how complicated that would have been for you to do in this time. And now we have software that does that. So for me, I could only see that being as an advantage, where once we get that, it actually makes us smart. It actually takes away, makes it more, instead of having people that have to be skilled on actually drawing things, it takes that away and makes us apply actually the more transferable skills. So instead of focusing on how to draw this, we can actually focus our time on how to make decisions based on that. And we can focus on, and then that opens the opportunities where the role in petroleum engineering is actually quite similar to maybe a role in civil engineering, because we have software and we have AI that can actually make these predictions, and then we just make that common sense decisions on where to go and what direction to go to. So for me, I think it's going to make our jobs and our lives just easier and makes it less complicated to achieve our business objectives.
Thank you, Mr. Barr.
I'm going to be two-sided on AI and and how it affects everything, whether oil and gas, anywhere. So for businesses, you definitely have to automate what you can automate. All those all those tasks that often repeated, you can automate them. But then one thing about AI is that machine, as long as he kicks it off, you can hardly control it. So it's fine to automate. I love it. And of course, the world is moving forward and we can't do without AI. It's here to stay. But then bear in mind that, that is not everything you automate. And then definitely to lead to some job cuts because machine will be doing a lot of things that, would have been done by humans and all that. So how it affects oil and gas. Yes, some job cuts here and there, but then it will make the system more efficient. That's my intake.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Samuel. Mr. Eddie, you can take one last take from you.
Yeah, very correct, Samuel, right? But just to add to that, you can also look at there's been a current drive for how to reduce the unit cost of production per barrel, right? And of crude. It's cuts across various countries. They're really driving it in Canada. I think, maybe I know, and there's some companies, I think Cypher Crescent, NMPC, they're trying to drive same vision to reduce the unit cost of production. I think to get it as low as $1 per barrel. All of this is just possible with the aid of technology, right? And of course, AI, ML, right? What I would just say is we are very young. We're not 50. We can always learn anything we want to learn at any point in time. Trust me. And I always say school just came to define what to read, but then you're out here. So learn as much as you can learn. Go online, learn, ask for resources, ask anyone. I'm sure someone has a lot of resources. He's in the IT space. Ask Deborah, she's the Amazon guru, right? Just ask people, right? Get connections, learn as much as you can. And trust me, you can never go wrong with learning. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much for the insightful questions and the enlightening answers we have from our experienced speakers. I would like to round off the session now. It's been very interesting and somehow we've run over time because we've all been enjoying ourselves. But I'd like to hand over to Mr. Akpan to conclude.
Thank you to all of our speakers. I don't know if you can see my screen. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now we can.
So thank you. Now, for everybody that has been part of this session, I believe you have learned so much. And one of the key things our speakers kept saying is you should be part of SP. SP has helped them. So if you're not a part of SP, I would love to most respectfully call that you should join SP. You can join SP either as a professional member or as a student member. Now, the dues span from $25 to $130 per year. So you can join SP and be part of SP Abuja section and network and learn and grow in your career. Now, for any inquiries or questions on how you can be a professional, a student member, a young professional member of SP Abuja section, please send an email to us at spabuja-info@gmail.com or to our membership chairperson, ike.okafor15@gmail.com. Now, these are our social media platforms. On YouTube, of course, this event was live streamed on YouTube. You can go back to our YouTube SP Abuja section 199 and watch all of our past videos. And of course, we watch this video as many times as possible. We're on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and of course, Twitter for those that are not in Nigeria. So at this juncture, I would like to call our amiable and amazing programs chairperson for a closing remarks. Please, the virtual stage is yours, ma'am, Amina Danmadami. Please, closing remarks, ma'am.
Yeah, good evening. It has truly been a very engaging session, and I must tell you, I really enjoyed it. And listening to all of you has given me hope that Nigeria will truly be a great nation, because we're truly in good hands and we have people coming up to take the baton after us. Yeah, learning learning is a lifelong thing. It's something you have to do. And Eddie, you don't have to be young to learn. I am still learning. Every day I learn. And I learn from my seniors, I learn from my mates, I learn from my junior, I learn from even my sons. So learning is a continuous thing, because the next thing now Eddie will be telling us to go and sit down in our grave and wait. Because I mean, if you stop learning, that's it, you know. So thank you very, very much. And I'm really, really, really impressed with the level of detail you guys gave, you know, the way you engaged everyone, and it has really been inspiring. And I'm sure a lot of people were truly inspired by listening to you. However, I'm a bit concerned that all of you are no longer doing oil and gas. And I hope that it's not going to discourage other people coming up from oil and gas. Yesterday, I was in a program with Professor Eledare, the current ARD, and he assured us, being in the industry for so long and being a petroleum economist, he told us that by his prediction, oil will still be relevant up to 2050. So, I mean, it's enough time for someone who is already in school now to graduate and even retire. So, and there's always something. Up to now, there are so many things that don't have replacements for oil and gas, like petrochemicals, you know, and then gas is also coming up, which is a clean alternative, and it's the transition fuel. So there's still need for oil and gas professionals. So let's not all derail and leave oil and gas. Yeah, you know, all the others are interesting, they're transferable skills. Like along my career path too, I was a banker at some point, and that's where transferable skills comes in. And when I got the job, I didn't get a chemical engineering job when I graduated, and I didn't want to just sit down and do nothing. And a bank job came up. And you know, there was a time in the 90s, early 2000s, when banks were hiring engineers because they found that engineers were more efficient. Well, very efficient, I'm sorry. They were very efficient. So there were lots of employment of engineers into banks, and I was one of those that got employed into banks. So, and I was talking to my mentor, you see the importance of mentors again. You know, I was telling him that I'm not happy banking, you know, I mean, I studied chemical engineering and all of that. And he told me to sit down, that what do we do in the bank? It's balancing. You have cash out, you pay out cash, and then you get back cash into the vault at the end of the day. So out, you in, out, you know, in, process, out, you know. So he related it to chemical engineering processing. So he said, if you apply your skills, you end up being a very good banker at the end of the day. And I was a very good banker, I must say. In fact, there was a time I made a mistake. I didn't balance, but my boss was so sure it was not me. So they told me to just pack my bag and go, no, it's not Amina. They were, and I was the one that made the mistake that day, you know. So these are things, you know, transferable skills. And then I ended up coming back into the oil and gas industry. And then what has my banking done for me now? Most engineers are not very good at financials. Now I have financial skills, so I always end up shining when there's project management, or you know, so you will always learn from somewhere, you know, and whatever you learn when you graduate, wherever you find yourself, take it, put in your best, do the best you can do, and then pick up as much skills as you can from wherever you're doing. And then when you go into another, you'll be surprised the amount of knowledge you've garnered and what it can do to progress you. But most importantly, always have a good intention to do something of benefit to yourself, to your family, to your society, you know, and that is what keeps it pure, and that's what keeps it going. And then God, of course, will always bless anything that is done with a pure intention. So I wish you well, and I'm really so proud of all of you, and I'm glad that you're part of us, part of SPE, and I urge you to continue being part of SPE. It's an energy thing, and energy is in everything we do. Amazon, in Procter & Gamble. I use a lot of your product, by the way. I may stop anyway. So, you know, so let us all put our hands together, mentor the younger ones coming up. Keep doing it. And I'm happy that you guys have been stressing mentoring. And at your levels, you guys have people to mentor as well. So please do your bit. And we'll always call you up anytime we need people to talk to other people. For Abuja section, we plan to have a lot of energy for me programs. We plan to have a lot of youth programs because we are concerned about the high rate of drug abuse in the country. Recently, the president was even saying it was even more dangerous than the banditry and the kidnapping. So we really have to up our game and start really engaging the youth, so that we engage them and then they don't have, because an idle mind is a devil's workshop. So let us see what we can. If you have any suggestions, or if you can do anything, you can reach out to us at SP Abuja so that we can organize more sessions and then give back to our community so that together we can make the world a better place. Thank you so much. It was really an exciting session, and we're really grateful that you guys made out time to give us this engaging and wonderful talk. On behalf of the chairman of SP Abuja, I'd like to thank all the speakers, the wonderful moderator, SPE members, all our officials online and offline, and everyone who made time to join. Thank you very much, and we look forward to having you on more of our sessions. Please join our social media handles. I'm sure Apan will be happy with this. Join our social media handles and let us feel and see you, please. Thank you very much, and have a pleasant evening.
Thank you, thank you. I can say you can give our programs chair a virtual round of applause. Thank you so much, ma'am. So to end, please, can we all turn on our camera for a quick snapshot in photo, please? I will most respectfully request that everybody here can please turn on their camera. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Can you turn on your camera? I'm waiting for everybody.
And give us a good smile, please, while you're at it.
Yeah. Okay, we're still waiting for
Hey,
everybody.
director. Well done, no?
We have recognized our director, the person of, he's a mentor, he's a great grand mentor. Let me say that.
Yeah, very, very.
Director, do you have a few words for us?
He's my mentor.
Let's work. You're muted, sir. You're muted, sir. Please, kindly unmute. You're not hearing you.
Amazing presentations, great insights. I think what really caught me are the transferable skills. The truth is that life generally, for me, I think the university level really just gives you certain skills, basically more analytical skills that you can use anywhere. So don't be afraid to drift. You can still come back, but the most important thing is that you love what you do and you're using your skills fullest. I've seen medical doctors that have become chartered accountants and are doing really well. So beyond petroleum engineering, I wouldn't want anybody to leave the industry, but I think opportunity, somebody talked about getting all the opportunities available. I think opportunities are everything, basically.
Yeah.
Fulfilling your dream as a person. Your dream may not be petroleum engineering, but you can still come back. I've drifted to sales and I've come back to the industry. The most important thing,
Eddie is happy with that.
Yeah, so we also have Ella with us.
Oh,
Nigerian Council YP chair.
Yeah, wow. Thank you for coming, Ella.
Yeah, so thank you very much. I really enjoyed, and I really appreciate those young people that are very energetic and very, very conscious.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for the program. It was really enlightening. Thanks to the speakers. When I saw the flyer, I was really excited. I thought it was a really nice one that is quite relevant at this time. So thanks to the organizers for putting this together.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you. At this juncture, we'll just take a quick screenshot. Can I see your thumbs up, please? Okay. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So this will be on our social media platforms. So you can do well to follow us. And of course, it will be very nice. Once again, we come to the end of this. And we say thank you for joining. Thank you, and thank you. Bye for now.
Thank you very much. Well done, Apan, for coordinating it very well. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.